What's up to all of my Sages out there? Welcome to Pulse of the Cosmos. I am your astrologer, Emily, and today we are going to be taking a look at the astrology surrounding this full moon happening in Pisces. So this is going to be happening September 1st, 2nd of 2020, depending on where you are in the world. And for you guys, my Sages, this is going to be hitting in your 4th house. So this full moon could really, for you guys, bring up a lot of deeper emotions. We're looking at the 4th house to deal with your emotions, your emotional world, your home life, your emotional foundations, your emotional security. And when we have the full moon illuminating this space, it's going to bring anything out from the darkness that we've been trying to kind of push down there. So you could be having some deeper emotions come to the surface to kind of turn your awareness to those and see where we can balance those within ourselves and start building and developing that inner sense of emotional security and emotional stability so that we can manifest the kind of world we want to live in around that. And when we're looking at the balance between the axis of the 10th house and the 4th house, of course, the 10th house being Virgo, where the sun is for you. The 10th house is the house of our long-term goals, our ambitions, our career life, the world that we're trying to create for ourselves. And when we're in this space, especially when the sun is kind of traversing through the 10th house, you are really almost given opportunities to kind of step into your power and step into your authority. But it's at the cost of acknowledging the responsibility in that, the responsibility in owning your power and owning your emotions and owning the authority of your life, and not letting other relationships, circumstances, or factors dictate the direction that you're going to go in. We have this moon in beautiful trine to Uranus over there in Taurus. Or it's in sextile to Uranus and Taurus, while the sun is in trine to Uranus and Taurus. And when we've got Uranus over there in Taurus, your 6th house, something that came to mind for me was something that I told the Scorpios a couple weeks ago, actually, when I was reading this book by the late Gerald Clark. He was an amazing ancient history researcher, computer engineer, did a lot of study into human energy. And he was speaking about human energy and metaphorically almost comparing it to an FPGA programmer, which is some IT programming thing that was a microprocessor, reprogrammable. It was really popular because it could build its structure iteratively, dependent upon the function or output needed of it. And this is kind of how we are as humans. We don't have to get so attached to a certain structure, to a certain routine, or to a certain habit that's not really flowing into the directions of positivity in our lives. We can iteratively redefine that structure so that it's flowing towards the kind of output, the kind of function, the kind of world that we want to create for our lives with the sun over there in the 10th house. But again, it's kind of like owning that and stepping into your authority and not letting yourself get victimized by even your own self or by things going on around you, or feeling like you've got all these self-worth blocks going on. I know we've got Saturn over there in Capricorn, your 2nd house of your self-worth and your self-value, where you can feel really restricted there. And you're really impelled to grow in directions where you're digging deep into areas where you're discovering that self-worth and you're discovering that self-value, and you're not outsourcing it to all these other things in your outside reality, and you're able to find that within. And with Venus in opposition to Saturn through this full moon, Venus is over there in your 8th house. And 8th house is a house of kind of our deepest wants, our deepest, most intimate needs, our deepest desires. And for you, especially in relationships, with this being Venus, our partnerships, projects, and relationships, it's time to kind of communicate, what do you truly, deeply, intimately want, need, and desire out of relationships? And are you standing in your own way, or are you involving yourself in situations that aren't nurturing your true worth and true value? And that this is the incongruency. But it's when Venus comes through the 8th house, it's really time to get in touch with this kind of subatomic parts of yourself and see what you're really attracting in relationships, and see if it's really aligned with what you truly want, you truly need, you truly desire, if it's operating off of some subconscious pattern that's attracting things into your life that are constantly putting you in a position where you feel like your worth isn't being honored and valued. We can step into kind of owning a new space of power and authority within that and attract what we truly deserve with the sun over there in the 10th house. But in any case, let's go ahead and pull onto the cards here and see what's going on for you guys there, my Sages. Do a little shuffle for you guys. Okay, so the first card we pulled is the Ace of Swords upright. And then we pulled the Page of Pentacles upright. And then we pulled Temperance coming up next. So interesting. So first card we pulled with the Ace of Swords. Aces always kind of come with a gift. And the gift of the Ace of Swords is literally piercing through the higher realms into that truth and into that knowing and into that insight. This is definitely messages coming your way where the truth, where there's some clarity being brought in. With this full moon, we can see a lot of clarity coming up through all of the stuff that's being brought to the surface. We do have the sun and trine to Uranus as well. So not only are intuitive aspects heightened with this full moon in Pisces, but sun trine Uranus really heightens our mental awareness and our perceptions as well. And these two things are kind of coming together to give you that element of truth and give you that element of knowing. But maybe you already think you know. Maybe you already think you know. This Page of Pentacles is kind of like a student, and a student in the most literal sense almost of the way. When we get him in the challenge position over this Ace of Swords, it almost feels like there's a focus on something that's so outside of this truth is to distract yourself. That's kind of what I'm getting out of the imagery of these pictures, that there's so much focus on this pinnacle, almost to kind of ignore this truth that's coming in, some kind of distraction. And this might be even focus. I know this isn't the traditional meaning of the card, but I'm getting this feeling very strongly for you guys right now. But really looking to external things to put your value in, and that's ignoring this place of inner truth where we would be feeding those inner values and that inner worth and that inner space of authority and power that we can manifest our world outside of that. But there's this kind of block there where there's a focus. The focus is on something in the outside when the truth is right there kind of in front of you or coming to you through the clarity of this full moon energy. And by acknowledging that truth, by acknowledging what directions our spirit guides, our higher self, our transcendental soul is trying to impel us to grow into through our soul's evolutionary path on this plane, we're finding that place of temperance. We're finding that place of balance. We're finding that place where we can kind of combine and mix the elements of our life, combine that inner world and outer world energy of the 4th house, 10th house, and really find that inner space of peace. And notice that this water is eternally flowing between these two cups, and it's coming just almost from within. This angel here, it's peace within yourself, it's balance within yourself, and it's creating that self-love and that balance and security in here that's going to manifest it in the world around you that you might be looking for with this Page of Pentacles, looking out here. But there is that sense of knowing there's going to be kind of a divine insight or a divine truth or a divine message that's coming your way, if it hasn't already, where you have that inner space of knowing, and these distractions are just getting in the way from leading you to that space of inner peace and inner security and inner flow. But in any case, I love you guys all so much, my Sagittarians out there. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you next time.